Great Northern Classics in Derby's, all sorts of things. It's an event space. We'll have club meetings, evening film shows, interviews. It's an old tram shed and a swanky car storage business and a cafe. And it's where you might keep your roller skate car thing. And there's one of the old trams. This was my star car, and I did a separate video just on this one, which you can look at. It's a replica of a pre-war Grand Prix Bugatti. That's a London to Brighton type car, Sinclair C5, great heroic failure, an electric vehicle from 80s maybe. This is Derby, so jet engines. That is an Armstrong Siddeley Sapphire sort of company that people have forgotten, and they made aero engines and gearboxes and all sorts of stuff. So this was owned by Rolls-Royce, the aero engine company, as a company car. 165 horsepower, 4-speed auto, separate heating in the back, magnificent thing. This motorbike caught me out with AFS written on it. I'm not quite sure why, but it is a BSA with amyl carbon. Reminds me of the BSA Bantam I rode for 2 weeks before deciding a motorbike in London wasn't really for me. I don't know whether that was Ayrton Senna's or not. Now this is a Merlin like people think of in Spitfires and Hurricanes and Lancasters. And this was a post-war aero engine. Right-hand tractor makes me wonder whether some go clockwise, some anti-clockwise. That reminds me of the Italian job. Massive centrifugal supercharger on the back of it. I love all these sorts of structures, which is similar to what I've been doing for a Reliant engine and brakes into an Austin 7. I like the contrast between the big sturdy frame and then the riveted aluminium to keep the wind off. Yeah, that's a nice BMW, but let's have another look at this. The radiator is under it, so Spitfires just stick the radiators in the wings. Those magic bolts that hold the whole thing in to pull the aeroplane along and survive turbulence and aerobatics. Alpina was an independent tuning brand. I love the coach stripes down the side of it. This reminds me of Henry Cowl on Shed and Buried, who bought something similar to terrify himself with. I think the dashboard is just that switch on and off. The handlebars are right down on the forks rather than above the forks, right down by the wheel. Tiny little brake, tiny little tyres. Quite a thing to look at. Not interested, conventional eye candy. This Alvis, rather nice. They have the reputation for driving so much better than the specification would make you think, a bit like Lances that look heavy and underpowered. So the hair on the front is rather fun. So huge following. Got a couple of friends who'd fancy one. I think it's a Formula 3 car. A Cosworth DFV, which was the Formula 1 engine to have from late 60s all the way through the 70s. Proper screamer. I like the contrast of these two next to each other. It's the one on the left I'd most like to have a go in. I'd like to have a go in the Formula 1 car, but Formula 3 car. This I thought was a minor, but it's an A30 with a massive V8 in it. A really proper piece of kit. It reminded me of the BMW M4 I saw in the City of London. Lots of details are similar, such as the way the exhaust comes out of that back wing. So there's not a lot of that original car left. I even wonder if the body panels are completely glass fibre and there's nothing left at all. So Mod Sports is something that's been revived. Black Shuck is the name. My godson wants to give his Austin 7. He's in Suffolk. Mythical dog, a bit like the Hound of the Baskervilles. So is it a Fiat Dino or is it a Ferrari Dino? Either way, absolutely exquisite with a V6 engine, which they made in some quantity to homologate for Formula 2. Use them in these, use them in Fiat Dino front-engined coupes and convertibles. So, lovely engine, lovely car. This is a child's dragster, because obviously children need dragsters. It reminds me a bit at the back of cycle carts, which I'm a big fan of. Would like to build one of. Story for another day. But some kind of sophisticated clutch there. I've got to look these up at some point. Look forward to seeing them in action. I had a really great day at Santapod, just a one-off, but an amazing experience watching all the funny cars and jet cars and rockets. The smell. This is a Lotus, a space frame chassis. You can see a gear shift on the right hand side. I'd like a go in that more than the F3, a bit less terrifying without the slicks and the wings. Beautifully made. Don't know if it's Formula 4 2000 or what. Now, here's another jet engine. I've done a walkthrough of a jet engine at Duxford, which is sectioned. There's a more modern one with a big high bypass fan. There were quite a few dragsters there, proper parachute on the back jobs. I just couldn't get over how big the engine was compared with the rest of the car. So that's where we came in, and I'm kind of doing this backwards from the cafe back to the front door. Having got everyone settled down with breakfast, I could go off and explore. This is a 2 parachute dragster in terms of size and weight, and the engine and these massive turbos were quite a thing. So it looks like 2 turbos into one intake, disappears into the cabin. We'll look at that later. So this is kind of Rover V8, I'd think of, much more conventional. Rev counter out there on the engine. You sit over the axle, so you sit behind the diff, legs over. No suspension, so it must all be in the tyres. Hold for third, don't forget. I mean, who'd want to have a go in that? Not me. But amazing to watch them. And I assume absolute massive buzz. They are just so spindly up the front end. I've seen bigger wheels on mountain bikes. Little motorbike I liked. So, was that my car of the day? Or was that my car of the day? Maybe the dragster? No, I mean the one that we're not going to forget is this, with this amazing intake system, which we are going to look around now. So it's 2 turbos into one. It disappears into the dashboard, probably an intercooler or something. Round down into the top of the engine, through the engine obviously, and then the exhausts out forward into the hot side of the turbocharger and out the back. What a thing. Anyway, I really recommend the place, whatever the weather. We also went to Derby Cathedral, and then I made a film on the Museum of Making, which is in maybe the oldest factory in the world. There are a lot of places that make that claim, but it's a really good museum.